Hello, North Texas fans, and welcome back to another edition of our Zoom Caravans. Hank Dickinson with you, and as we've said before, in my time here, the caravans are always that rite of passage, taking you from the summer into the fall and getting a chance to hear remotely from a lot of our coaches and student athletes as well as administrators. And we've enjoyed getting out around the region throughout the years and making 5, even 6 stops during the summer. But of course, this is not the kind of year where we can do that. We're concerned about public safety. We're concerned about the safety of our coaches and our student athletes. And we're concerned about your safety too. So hopefully this is a chance for you to log on and learn about what's happening during this very difficult time of trying to assess how you manage college athletics. But I will tell you this, among our 16 intercollegiate athletic teams, we've got great leadership, and we're going to talk to one of those great leaders here in just a minute, and one of her student athletes. But first, a big thank you to our sponsor, 308 Construction. That is a local contractor here in Denton, Texas, that is run by Ryan Davenport, Mean Green football alum. So thanks to Ryan for his support, and thanks to his staff at 308 Construction for helping make these programming opportunities available to you. And also a reminder, the Mean Green Scholarship Fund always needs your assistance, and our supporters have been great through the years, including last year when over 1,400 people from around the nation helped support athletic scholarships at North Texas. Our athletic scholarship needs right now approach $6 million. So now is a great time to learn more about the Mean Green Scholarship Fund. And somebody who knows all about it is a former student athlete who scored more points than anybody on the basketball court, is a member of our Athletic Hall of Fame, is the fastest coach in women's basketball to reach 50 victories, and I would say is the First Lady of Mean Green Athletics. Jaylee Mitchell, head coach of the Mean Green Women. How are you?
I am doing great. That was one heck of an introduction. I appreciate it. But all is well under the circumstances. Thank you for asking.
I've known you since you were the age of Quincy Noble, who's our other guest today, one of your players, and Quincy, an area product who started out somewhere else but matriculated to North Texas. And you and I have one thing in common. We both kind of like talking either in front of the camera or on the air. I am on a mission, just like I was with Lauren McCollum, to get you in my broadcast class. Can we make that happen before your college career is done?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm definitely interested in doing it, and I'm going to be there. So.
Well, I know we've had a chance to visit with you during the year. Dave Barnett had a chance on our Rudy's Barbecue Coaches Show. But why the interest in broadcasting, and is it a function of you wanting to take your athletic background and use that in broadcasting, or do you want to do something else in front of the camera?
I'm most definitely interested in using my sports background and taking it into the broadcasting world, and, just being like a sports analyst. Like, I've just always been big on, if I can't do it, whenever the ball stops, I still want to be involved in the sport. So the way that I want to be involved is being a sports analyst and being on TV, sharing my 2 cents about the game I love to play.
I think that's a great idea, and I think we need more people like you coming out of North Texas with that background. Coach Mitchell, I'm curious, in all the times that you've spent in gyms, evaluating talent, recruiting talent, coaching, have you ever had the desire to want to sit there with the headset on and just kick back and analyze what's happening?
It's been a thought. I've definitely had that thought over the years. Never, the only experience I get is really with you and, with Dave when we go to Rudy. So that's my opportunity to kind of get my feet wet. But, who knows? You never know. One day, like for Quincy, it's when the ball stops bouncing. For me, it's when I get to stop yelling. One day I'm retired, long time from now, but we'll see.
I remember when the ball stopped bouncing for you briefly, you started going into the private sector, looked at the banking industry, and we're taking a look at a whole nother career. When did things change for you? When did the game call you back? Because once it called you back, you've been on quite a journey.
For sure. So I was a finance major at UNT, and so I thought all along that I wanted to be a banker. I wanted to own my own bank someday, and so that was kind of what I did after graduation. And it took about 6 years for me to officially get into college basketball, but 2 years after graduation is when I started trying to kind of make my way back in. I felt, well, no offense to anybody, but I just felt really old already, you know, like sitting at a desk all day, and like it was so different from, you know, being active and walking around the corridor or being on a bench or being in the locker room. You know, it was just a different atmosphere, different environment. And while you still have teamwork and things in the corporate world, it's very different. And, you know, my thing that I said back then was, you know, I can sit at a desk all day one day when I, you know, just don't feel like being up and being active. But right now I really, I missed the game. You know, it was something that I'd done for years since I was 11 years old. And so it was different being without it, you know, and watching it on TV or hearing about it, or just having conversations. I wanted to be back in the game. I wanted to make a difference in other people's lives. I had some great coaches in my time that made a difference, a huge difference for me. And so I wanted to give back and make sure that one, I think you got to be in this for the right reasons, and that's for these young women like Quincy, and being able to give them everything that was given to me and more.
Quincy, knowing that Coach Mitchell can be a little intense in terms of her work ethic at practice, can you imagine her being your banker?
I can already see it. I don't think she'd be as bad as like y'all are trying to describe it. I think she would keep it real professionally modest. You know, she wouldn't yell at me if I didn't understand, you know, what's going on in the world. But no, but you need that enthusiasm sometimes in the baking world. So that would have been funny for sure.
You both look really good and healthy, and I think by and large we've been very fortunate as an athletic department that our student athletes have remained healthy. But Quincy, just tell us, how challenging is it when you're not in the routine with your teammates, with your coaches, to maintain the physical edge and to be the only person that can push yourself? Has it been a challenge during this COVID crisis time and the self-distancing that we've all taken on?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's been very challenging just considering the fact you're used to being on like a certain schedule, and especially around like this time. This would be the time we're going in for our first session for basketball and kind of just preparing for the season. So like without that, you kind of feel just a little like, oh, what are we kind of supposed to do? But you know, they're guiding us as much as they can, keeping us working out, setting us routines to go over and go through. And you know, it is hard to kind of push yourself just because you're used to, you know, having your trainers there, your coaches here, you know, to tell you, you know, let's go, yell at you, you know, kind of keep you amped up for the terrible conditioning you're going to do. But, you know, that's some things I miss, but, you know, they're sending as much, you know, faith and positivity as they can. So.
And Coach Mitchell, I know people ask all the time, well, what are you doing in the athletic department right now? A lot of things have changed in terms of the pace and the things we're concentrating on. But one thing that hasn't changed for you is you had to go out there and once again assemble a staff when you had some movement, but you brought some familiar faces on board. So talk a little bit about the changes on your staff and how positive you feel about the newcomers to the J. Lee Mitchell group.
Yeah, I am super excited. You know, obviously I'll start with the hometown hero, you know, Kelby Jones. He was here with me my first year when I got the job, and I'd heard so many great things about him, you know, from the players, and also just from people around the program that just loved him, loved his energy and his passion. That's one thing you don't kind of get to exhibit in the banking world, by the way. You know, is that you don't get to let off that steam. But I think Kelby is just an exceptional worker. I think has a great heart for Mean Green basketball. I think he believes it, you know, just like I do. And he's so happy to be back and to be able to, you know, get back on the court in his time at Texas, while he had some great opportunities to grow and kind of put his hands in some different areas, recruiting, scouting, that sort of thing. He did not get a chance to get on the floor and really, you know, coach and help. And, you know, that's one thing I know he did a great job with in my first year here. I mean, I thought Ashell Tack, if she was on this call, she would tell you how he, you know, really put some heat on her, you know, and helping her to become a better player and to help her to become a professional, which she's still doing today, playing professional basketball. So I love his heart. I love his energy. I love his passion and his fire. And I know that our young women will as well. And I look forward to them having the opportunity to meet face to face. You know, it's one of those things they've had to talk to them via Zoom and FaceTime and phone call. And so I just think I'm excited about the day where they get to meet him in person, as well as Coach Jamie. That's what she likes to be called for the record. Coach Jamie Carey is, her resume speaks for itself. And, she's had some WNBA players. She's had USA basketball. She did a great job, I thought, at the University of University of Texas. And while we didn't work together, we just grew very fond of each other just from spending time at coaches clinics and on the recruiting trail and things like that. So I have a lot of respect for her and for what she brings to the game, what she brings to the table for our young women, and just look forward to her getting her hands on them and helping them to grow. And I think that's one of the things that's been mentioned about her is just her investment, in the young women on and off the court. And so I can't wait. Very fortunate, very blessed to have been able to bring them aboard.
Well, every good coach always has a short list, always looking ahead, knowing that there's going to be movement in this industry. So congratulations on getting some people back that everyone's going to be fired up about. And Quincy, thank you again for being a part of this. I'm looking forward to getting you in that class, so I'm going to stay on you about that. But great to have you on here, and I hope you'll stay as safe and healthy as you are right now. And Coach Mitchell, thanks for all your work behind the scenes on our Hall of Fame committee. You and I have at least been able to keep up on Zoom, and we've got some exciting news coming out with that here shortly as well.
Yes, it's my pleasure.
So
thank you for having us.
You bet.
Yes.
That's
Thank you.
awesome to visit with Jaylee Mitchell and Quincy Noble, but we leave the hard courts now and head to the golf course. The women's golf program at the University of North Texas has climbed more than 200 spots in the national rankings since these two came on the scene, and that is the head coach Mike Akers and his star player Lauren Cox. And when I look at maybe some of the positives of this whole COVID situation is the fact that some great athletes do actually get a chance to come back. And Lauren, you're certainly one of those. You were in 8 tournaments before the season was snapped, and now you get a redo. How excited are you to be able to have that second opportunity to come to campus and continue to shine on the golf course?
I'm very excited. It was very sad that our season got cut short, and we were looking forward to going to conference and to continue our winning streak, but I'm very excited to come back.
Well, I know the next guy I'm going to talk to is excited as well. Mike, this is certainly the kind of person you can build a program around, and with your goal of cracking the top 50 and getting the team into the tournament, really, you couldn't have kick-started with anyone better, right?
No question. It's just, like Lauren said, it was very sad when things hit in March, but there's a silver lining to everything, and having her back for one more year is certainly a silver lining, and we're really excited to bring her back for another year and add another super talented freshman to the mix.
Mike, how hard has it been to keep up with your ladies? I know you've got Lauren, who's right here in the area, but you've also got international student athletes, and just trying to keep tabs on people and know that they're continuing to work as best they can. What have the challenges been?
Well, the time zones have been quite interesting. We set Zoom meetings, once a week, and then also we communicate on WhatsApp. But the time differences are insane because they're all over the world, and so that's been the biggest challenge, is to get them together at one time, because it could be 4 a.m. for one of them and 1 a.m. for another and 5 p.m. here in Texas. So that's been the main challenge in the communication aspect.
When we visited with Coach Strachey and had Victor Forsland on, Victor, checking in all the way from Sweden, talking about how different it is over there. And it's a unique opportunity, Lauren, isn't it, when you get to play and go to college with international students? You're kind of known as the team mom for bringing in some of these young ladies that are coming from far away. How has it been to kind of be in that leadership spot, not in terms of playing, but maybe just helping some teammates along as they get used to being in America?
It has been really fun to get to know my teammates. I've made some of my closest friends over the past 4 years. You just never know who you're going to meet or who you're going to get along with and have similarities with. I do my best to drive them around and show them the fun places, but they are really coming in very mature, and they know a lot already. So whatever I can do to help, I'm glad to.
And what about you during this entire COVID crisis and sheltering at home? Have you been able to play a lot of golf? Because it seems like that was one of the first things that did kind of loosen up was the ability to get out and even if you're riding alone, play some golf.
Yes, sir. I have been playing a lot. I've practiced in my backyard, and then the courses opened up, and I've gotten to go practice. I competed in a tournament last week, which was our first one back, and so it was good to get out there and have some experiences that I'm used to and get used to it again.
What kind of controls were in place at the tournament that you just played in? How was it different than it normally would have been?
Oh, well, we didn't exchange scorecards. We didn't shake hands. There was a volunteer that followed us around that would pull the pin for us and rake our bunkers. Even at the end, we didn't exchange scorecards. We just read our scores out loud. So it's definitely different. You know, golf usually shake each other's hands in the beginning and then you hug or say thanks for the round after. And so, yeah, it was different.
Yeah, the new normal or the semi-new normal. Coach Akers, not to put you too much on the spot, but what are your goals for this young lady in her full-term senior season?
Well, just keep doing what she's doing. She's improved every year. She set the school scoring record her junior year, then just beat that this year. And so I would assume, Lauren, you want to continue that and break your own record next year. She does have some teammates that are on her heels, which is awesome. Audrey Tan had the third best scoring average in history of the school this past season. So everybody's elevating at the same time, and Lauren has been an incredible leader. And we're going to have six others on the team this year that want to follow her and try to beat her. So it's a great thing to have.
Unfortunately, this year, one of our casualties due to COVID was the Don January golf tournament, which I've been coordinating for a number of years. And Lauren, I've got to tell you, I got to fight people off. They all want Lauren Cox on their team, and so I normally use you as a little bit of a chip to try to get the donors. So you're going to need to be ready to be my big chip next year, all right, when we bring that tournament back.
Okay, I'll be ready. That's so nice of you to say. We enjoy playing in that tournament.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and we missed doing it this year. But one of the things that we did do was put together a production called Down the Corridor of Years featuring Don January and the history of the old golf course, which is where all of our facilities are now. And Mike, I know you're really excited, just like Coach Strachey is, that a practice facility and a field house for golfers, men's and women's, is now online and on track. Just talk about what that'll mean from a recruiting perspective and maybe even just for an opportunity for the men's team and women's team to spend more time together.
No question. We don't see each other now. We're never in the same place, but this will give the both teams a chance to bond more. But being on campus and just a few dozen yards from the dorm, when we bring recruits in and they see that, their eyes are going to light up. To be able to literally walk from the dorm over to practice and then to work out, and then also the dining hall is right there. It's a home run for recruiting. And then, we still have access to the dozens of courses in the DFW area that are incredible. We have incredible golf courses, but now having that home practice facility right on campus, it's going to be huge. It's going to save them time too. They have so many things going on with studies and working out and other things, social life, that it's going to free them up hours and hours a week to be able to practice right there on campus.
Well, yours is certainly a program whose arrow is pointing right in the right direction. Lauren, you're a huge part of that. Coach Akers, Lauren Cox, great to see you both. Look forward, Lauren, to getting you back safely to campus as soon as we can, and appreciate your all's time today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Time to talk some women's tennis with veteran tennis coach, and that is Sujay Lama. Just completed his 14th season. He's made a habit of finding great talent from literally around the globe, and joining us today from his team is Needy Surapanini. Let's start with you, Needy. How are you doing, and how did you feel about a breakout season for you? You had your highs in career singles and doubles wins, so things were going well until COVID-19 put a stop to the season.
Yes. Hi, Hank. Thank you for having me on the show. It feels great talking to you and to Coach Lama again after a break. We've had meetings. We've had team meetings going on, online virtual meetings, and we do still have virtual meetings going on. But I'm doing fine, stuck in Denton, could not go back home. So hanging around here and playing tennis, doing fitness on my own. We have our fitness strength trainers send us fitness programs. So I'm following that. It's been pretty tough, but I have a couple of friends with me and I have another teammate staying with me. So it's it's been good so far, and hopefully it'll go smooth throughout the summer without any obstructions. And I hope this corona thing will go away and hopefully things will get back to normal, even though I know normal is not something which we're hoping for anymore. But coming to my tennis season, I think I played one of my best seasons. My junior year, I can place it at number one position. My confidence just boosted during the summer of my sophomore year, and I was training hard. I had the determination, I had the zeal, I had the grit, and I think I gave my best during the fall and spring seasons. And doubles, Coach Alman knows we struggle to find me a good partner. Who we can both get connected to. So finally, I think I did get a partner who I got really connected to, and our both games worked out together. My doubles partner is Masha, Maria Punamareva. We call her Masha. So I think it's both me and Masha who did really well in doubles, and I'm happy. Yeah.
You also did well in the classroom, and Sujay, I know you're proud of this young lady and so many of your student athletes for routinely making it to the Conference USA academic medals list. That means a 3.75 or better GPA, and Needy certainly is in that range every semester. That's a big part of making a program be consistently stable and successful.
Yes, yeah, I'm really, really proud of course, Needy, but also this team and all the teams that we've had. I think we've just kind of had this culture from day one. We said, hey, we're going to be striving for excellence both on and off the court. And as you know, Hank, most of the kids, when they do well academically, they do well on the court too. And when they don't do well academically, typically it shows on the courts too. So extremely proud of Needy, but also the entire team, and that the consistency, each year, I mean, we are striving for 3.75 or above. And these kids keep raising their bar every year.
Little recap of your season. You got off to a great 5-0 start, but you were still trying to meld 5 of 8 players as newcomers. And this year would end abruptly in Hawaii. Talk about some of the challenges of facing up to the COVID crisis and having to get that team back from being outside of the 48 states.
Well, I mean, first of all, I mean, we were starting to find our rhythm because we had a great start, but even the matches that we lost, 4 of them, Memphis, South Florida, Marshall, and FIU, we either had a match point or we were serving for the match. So this team was really, as young as it was, I mean, we were turning the corner. And so it was just a matter of time. And so it was extremely disappointing because we felt like our best was to come. And then the fact that we were going to be hosting the conference, we thought that we could make a run for a conference title. So that's why it was disappointing. But, tennis players, we are resilient. I mean, this is what we have to do. They're on the island. There's nobody helping them. And it's all about how we manage our moments. And so there's a lot of adversity. I mean, you're guaranteed to lose 50 to 48% of the points. And so it's all about how do you deal with adversity. So yes, it was devastating to end the season. Yes, it was devastating to fly back a day earlier from Hawaii. But these kids were so resilient. We just were like, okay, what's next? How do we move on? And the kind of sessions we've had here since, the time that COVID stopped the season has been incredible. The growth that we've had, we've come with a new mission statement. We've had sessions with incredible speakers. They've done mindfulness training. So we are just looking forward and then focusing on the controllables, because that's what it's all about in life. And that's the lesson that we try to teach them, is like focus on what you can do and don't focus on what's not in your control.
Needy, like so many of the other student athletes we've visited with on the Zoom Caravans, you are a member of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. What will you take out of this COVID situation that you'll learn from and can share with as a leader for all of the student athletes at North Texas?
I think one of the main things is, even though we cannot meet in person, sometimes the SAC meetings happen during class times, or sometimes there are class conflicts during our training sessions. So I think these Zoom meetings which we had were very helpful, and they were not time consuming because we didn't have to travel to other places, and we just made ourselves available during that certain period of time. I think more meetings online will definitely help if this COVID situation continues to grow.
Well, we appreciate your leadership and congrats on a great season. We know good things are ahead of you. Sujay, good luck keeping in touch with all of your student athletes and bringing them back to campus safely.
Well, thank you, Hank. I mean, it's been amazing, how we've come together as a family. I think in this time, I think, we've actually come together, as a team, as a department. And with all that's going on in the country, I think this country, the world's coming together. So I think we got to continue to stay positive. There's so much to look forward for this program, this athletic department, and UNT. So this is on the rise, and things are going to be great for us here this coming year.
Always appreciate your positivity, and again, appreciate visiting with you, Needy. But right now, our time's up. We got to keep moving on the Zoom Caravans. So we leave women's tennis and we move over to cross country with head coach Kevin Williams, author of a 2018 championship team and coach of the year status, and one of his top contributors, a junior from right down the road in Trophy Club, Caleb Bouchard. And folks, it's good to see both of you. Caleb, you're sporting the colors. I mean, you're representing well there. We appreciate that. How have things been for you, first and foremost, since the COVID-19 crisis has forced us all to safely distance? I hope you're feeling good and have been able to stay active.
So at first we were all kind of unsure what was going to happen. And it was actually kind of nice because everybody was still in town and we kind of got to go out on our own and practice in various different places. But then we kind of realized that things weren't going to go back to normal very quickly. And everybody went home. And then for a long period of time, I've been in Den alone, training alone. And just recently I've been able to start running again more with some of my teammates that live in the Keller area. So that's been good. School from home was certainly interesting. Nothing too crazy. It's just more of an exercise in self-discipline and how bad do you want it, I guess. But it's certainly doable.
Well, that's what we're hearing from all the student athletes we talk to. And like yourself, many of the student athletes that we visited with here on the Zoom Caravans are SAC reps. So before we get over to your coach, talk a little bit about your involvement with the Student Athlete Advisory Council and just the leadership opportunities that come with being a SAC rep.
SAC has been pretty cool over the last year or so. I think it's a good platform for one goal that I have for this next year actually is to try to do more with community service involving the whole athletic department, because I think that would be something that could be really, really cool, even though that isn't my particular subcommittee at the moment. That's something that interests me. But getting to work with some student athlete engagement and getting people to know each other better across teams was something that was cool to see. And it also offered a little bit of an ability to look into the inner workings of behind the scenes stuff at the athletic department and how hard it actually is to manage this many student athletes on a daily basis.
Well, I hope we can work together on some of those community service opportunities, and I'm sure we've got some ideas that might be good. There'll be a lot of need for a lot of things once we can all get everyone back to campus. And Coach, I know that's what you're looking forward to. I mean, cross-country runners can continue to train under their own direction, like Caleb just mentioned, but how frustrating has it been for you to not really be able to put your arms around the guys and gals that you normally would be training and knowing everyone's different nuances? It has to be tough.
Yeah, it's been different since things shut down. It was it's kind of wild. We're actually at a track meet when everything shut down. But in a certain sense, it's easy to keep in touch with kids with texting, email, Zoom calls, but it is a lot different. You don't get to, look a kid in the face, see if they're stressed out, see kind of what they're going through. So yeah, it's been a challenge, but I think I'll commend my group for really handling it well, and kind of like Caleb said, having some fun with the freedom. Our sport, we go from August till June all year, with practice every day, and the kids don't get a lot of freedom within the school year. So I think they did a great job of getting together and keeping on top of one each other, and just really it's a very tight-knit group, and I think that really helped all of them through it.
You had the pleasure, I'm sure you would call it a pleasure, of coaching Florian Leslie, the only runner in program history to qualify twice for the NCAA championships. And of course, some of us in the department got to know Florian a lot better because he did an intern for us. Really a quality kid and an excellent athlete.
Oh yeah, no, it was, we're sad to see Florian go. He took off back to Switzerland. He graduated this year. I'm sure Caleb will miss him. They were co-chefs at the apartment. Lots of time spent together. But no, it was great to have Florian. I inherited Florian when I got here almost 3 years ago, and he was injured when I came. So we didn't really know what to expect, or at least I didn't, out of him as an athlete. But yeah, just to see the level of seriousness that he brought to running, and how much he treated it as a lifestyle rather than just punching in, punching out. I thought that was good for the rest of the team to see, and we'll miss all of his silly antics and everything for sure, though.
Now back to Caleb. I don't know what this summer is going to hold for you, but in my notes it says that last summer you were, as a pre-med student, busy delivering babies. Tell us about that.
Oh, well, I guess I technically wasn't delivering any babies, but I shadowed under a friend of mine that I met while I was working a job at Vineyard Vines, actually. He's been at Baylor Scott and White Dallas for, I think, 12 or 13 years now. He's an OB anesthesiologist. So I spent the better part of 100 hours at the hospital, night shift, day shift, kind of all over the place. I learned how to suture. I learned how to intubate. I learned how to place a combined spinal epidural. So a lot of cool stuff to come out of that. And I did get to see about 13 or 14 babies come into the world through C-section, though. So that was kind of cool.
Wow. So now what is your ultimate goal when you are able to get done with the undergraduate work?
As of right now, my primary goal, I think, is to go to medical school at Stanford. That would be my number one choice. But I've got to keep options open because not everything goes the way that you want it to always. But my end goal, I think, as of right now, is to pursue orthopedic surgery. But who knows where that'll go. It could go anywhere. I mean, I'm an engineer too, so I might end up doing something with that.
Well, it sounds like you've got wonderful opportunities ahead of you, and we appreciate you taking some time to join us. If you do end up on the West Coast or East Coast, just make sure you pack that shirt and that hat, because you're always going to be mean green, right?
Yes, sir.
Caleb, appreciate your time. And Kevin, just to kind of wrap it up, as you look ahead for your program, obviously this last season just was one where you can't really judge anything because you didn't get to finish the task. What are your personal goals, and what do you think the team's capable of once we do get back to running?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this year's cross country team, especially the men, just because we were very young last year. We had some injuries. We redshirted 2 all conference guys that we're plugging back in this year. So we've got 5 of the guys back that won conference 2 years ago on this team, but a much older, trained up version of them. And we were relying on a lot of freshmen last year as well. So we're excited. I'm super excited to see where these guys go. And, first of all, just to get back and work with them is going to be a blast. But I have really high expectations and think they can accomplish some big things. So without knowing where the rest of the conference is at. The goal is always to win, which we'll see who returns to the United States and whatnot before we make that goal yet. But I'm really excited about this team, and all the way into indoor and outdoor track, we really were a young team this last year, so we return a lot of key people in key spots, and it should be an exciting group.
Well, we look forward to getting the Harriers back out there and running all over town and getting ready to compete for you. Caleb, you continue to stay safe and healthy. Appreciate visiting with you. And we want to remind our fans that, as we put these together, it is time to buy season tickets for Mean Green football. We are still planning for everything that is supposed to start on September 5th. We do have the ticket assurance program in place, but Mean Green football is on its way, and we want you to be ready for that. And as we finish up here, we'll remind you that when we pick up the Zoom Caravans again, we'll be talking softball, track and field, and a visit with Ren Baker. Until then, I'm Hank Dickinson for Mean Green Productions. Thanks for being with us, and go Mean Green.